everybody. This is Kevin Davidson, your host for Kevin's Corner, Real Estate from a Marketing Perspective. And this is episode number 26. And I have a very exciting show for you today because this young lady to my left is first time she's been on the podcast. But until then, we start the podcast. I want to make sure everybody understands why we do the podcast. I don't do the podcast for me. I do the podcast for my guests, the real estate agents and the vendors that are in the area to help them promote their business. This podcast is all about real estate and marketing, real estate from a marketing perspective. And I also could not do this podcast if it wasn't for my support staff, which is Jennifer Smidas, the area vice president, Caitlin Korner, Devin, and Wendy Santana in the Richmond office, is along with our assistants and our funder. So let's get started. This is Kevin's Corner, episode number 26, Real Estate from a Marketing Perspective, and this is Kathryn Wheat.
Hi.
So Kathryn is, she's not only famous, but she also has two jobs and has been in the industry for a little while, correct?
A little bit, yes, a little bit.
So I want you to tell everybody real quick what you do as far as the two careers that I know about.
Right.
And we'll get into them.
Okay, cool. So I started, I have a real estate school, and I started that quite some time ago. And then also I am now an agent myself.
Yes. So I actually met you back in 2015 or 16 when I was at Empire Industries.
Right.
Because do you remember meeting me with the other really big ball-headed guy?
Yes,
Steve?
yes.
Yeah. So, and then for whatever reason, we didn't connect. And when I got recruited by Stuart Title, I was looking for a real estate school that can provide the required classes for me. And I wasn't real happy with who I'd used. And someone mentioned your name, and I was like, that name sounds very familiar.
How do I know her?
And so I looked you up on social media. I was like, I know that girl. She's not going to remember me, but I know who she is. And here we are.
Right.
So it's a very small world. People come around and connect after not being connected for a while. So tell everybody, so you started the school before you became a real estate agent?
Yes. So I did it a little bit backwards from what most people would think that you would do. I started the school 9.5 years ago, and kind of did it by accident. I was writing a book on networking, and I started doing lunch and learns for networking groups about how to network, and there was some realtors in the crowd, and they suggested that I get that approved as a CE class. And I thought, let me look into that. Let me figure that out. And so I started looking into it, and I reached out to various schools and providers, and everybody ignored me.
Really?
Nobody returned my phone calls or emails or anything like that. So I called up Trek, and I'm like, hey, how hard is it to get your own license? You have to have real estate experience. And they're like, well, not really. And so I went through the steps to get that done. And ever since then, I've had other instructors approach me really about wanting to teach for the school. And it's just developed over years into what it is now.
Nice. It's kind of like this. I got started teaching CE the same way. I was in property management, and I was trying to figure out how to get in front of agents, how to get their attention. And myself and Steve Rosenberg, whom you met, we were at some presentations doing something, and we were driving home, and he goes, you could do that. I'm like, do what? And he goes, you could teach, you could give presentations. I'm like, you're out of your mind.
I don't think so.
And he goes, no, really think about it. I'm like, well, so we talked about it, and he basically said, you have a marketing degree, you have marketing knowledge. That's why I hired you, was to grow this company. Why couldn't you teach agents to do that?
Right.
And I said, well, but how would I do that? And he goes, CE.
Right.
Take credit. So I did the same thing. I called Trek and I said, my boss has this stupid idea. Does this really work? And they were like, sure, as long as the class, as long as they can see that it would help an agent in their business,
right,
we'll approve it.
Right.
And so that's how I started.
That's what I did. So I started teaching more marketing type classes And then I had other instructors come along who knew the business and could teach legal and were qualified to teach it. Now contracts and things like that. So I didn't worry about the real estate specific classes. I just did what I could do to help them market. And it's been wonderful.
How many classes do you teach or have on your roster? Do you know?
I don't know.
It's more than 20 though, isn't it?
Usually, yeah. We do we probably around 20 a month now. Coming up on November, December, you kind of only have half a month in those months.
Well, no, I mean, how many classes do you actually have available?
Courses available.
Yeah, courses.
It's more than 20. It kind of fluctuates because, as you know, the courses expire after 2 years, and you either renew it, or a lot of times we like to refresh them or just come up with something new or a different twist on it. So I can have anywhere from like 25 to 35 on our course list.
And are any of the classes on your course list either not required classes or not marketing? Do you teach anything like, I don't know, maybe time management or anything like that?
We have had some of those time management classes. We actually have a self-defense class, which I've been trying to get for a while.
Who teaches that?
His name is Larry, and he owns a Krav Maga studio in Katy, and he's amazing. I took the class the first time he taught it, which I'm always with my new instructors their first time anyway, but I wanted to take the class, and I got so much out of it, and it's fast-paced, it's hands-on. The second hour, you're moving. How
did you get it? Is it CE certified?
It is.
How did you get CE certified?
Because I have magic. I know, right? No, that one, you have to know what Trek wants. And at this point, I've been doing it long enough. I know what Trek wants to see. And so they didn't even kick it back and ask questions. They approved it on the first go-round. But, and it was me working with him a lot, saying, look, we've got to make sure that this is real estate specific. It's not just anybody with self-defense. It's situational awareness, situational things. You're in an open house. You're, working with buyers. You're, the different things that could happen that, it is a little bit scary sometimes because we're meeting with virtual strangers and we're going to empty homes. And so I said, it's all got to be based around those ideas and those situations.
Yeah, I can remember the first time that, either the first or the second time I sent a class into Trek, they kicked it back. And
I've had a few kickback.
Yeah, and the guy kept telling me that he couldn't, from reading the outline, he couldn't infer that it was for real estate agents. And I said, but you're Trek. Who else would it be for? Right. And finally, after we kind of went back and forth for a little bit, he goes, look, just put the word real estate agents in the outline every 3 or 4 sentences, and I'll approve it. I'm like, that's so all funny. You want? And he goes, yeah, that's all I need. I'm like, no problem, dude. So I did it.
Real estate, broker, agent. And, selling, buying.
2 hours later, it got approved. And so now, every time I send in a new class, it's exactly what I do. I make sure it's got the words real estate agent in there.
Right.
And I haven't had one not approved on the first try yet. So, but that's really cool. Now, how do you come up with your classes, your class ideas? What motivates you to put something else on the roster?
A lot of times it is the actual instructor. They come to me and they say, hey, I've got this idea for a class, and it's based around their areas of expertise. So, they're writing their own classes. Sometimes I do help them write classes.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But for the most part, they write their own classes. Now, there are times when I hear, suggestions from other people. I wish you had a class on AI, or I wish you had, and then I'll think about my instructors and which one would be most likely to be able to tackle that curriculum the best. And I say, hey, what do you think about this idea? And a lot of times they'll write the class, or we'll work on it together sometimes, but we get it done.
Very nice. And do you have an AI class on the list?
We do.
You do? We need to talk about that.
Right?
So I don't know a lot about it, but people keep bringing it up. So
yeah, it's a thing.
It's a thing. And I think you said earlier, you have 5 instructors? How many instructors?
No, I currently have 11.
Really?
I do. So, and I have 2 up in Dallas. So 2 of the 11 are up in Dallas.
If somebody wants to be one of your instructors, what do they do?
they need to reach out to me and talk to me. We need to decide, first of all, what, if we want to work together, if we're a good fit. And then I talk to them about their idea for a class, what they want to write, what they want to teach, and see if I feel like it's if it's a need. And we kind of go from there.
If you have, how many did you say, 11?
11.
If you have 11 instructors, how do you know who to send where and to teach what?
A lot of times people will reach out to me. So my customers, I work mainly with builders and developers and title companies, some lenders, and
no, you don't work with title companies.
Company.
You work with one type of company. Kidding.
Correct. So they reach out to me with the class that they want, or they'll reach out to me and say, hey, we want a class on this date in this area. So I'll look to see what's not been up in that area recently, and I'll make a suggestion to them. I'll give them 3 or 4 ideas, and then they kind of say, oh, this one sounds great. Let's do this one.
What motivated you to start this Texas real estate company, education company?
Well, I had been divorced, and
Haven't we all?
Yeah. I've done it more than once.
Haven't we all?
Yeah. That's another podcast.
Exactly.
Right.
This is episode 27.
Yeah. Anyway, I had been a stay-at-home mom for the most part. I was really avid volunteer, did a lot with church, community, my kids' schools, but I was not really prepared to enter the workforce. And I started with a blog. I love to write. I'm a writer by nature. So I started blogging, and that's kind of what led to some public speaking and then the networking and writing the book. But it all came about, I was looking for streams of income. Just like, I would get paid to speak here, or I'd get paid for ad space on my blog, or this was a while back. And the whole CE thing, I thought, the light bulb, another stream of income. I can, and I never really envisioned it being what it is now. At one point, I had 17 instructors, and that was too many. I find that I don't like managing people. And the ones I have...
Your service is for people, but you don't like managing.
I don't want to tell them what to do. I expect them to know what to do. And so the ones that I have right now are all self-starters. They're all amazing. They're very reliable. I don't have to remind them about things. They don't ask me the same question a million times. They're good. They've been with me for a long time. And I feel like I have the best.
Yeah, Lynn McCarthy is teaching for us this coming Friday.
Yes, she is.
CMA's Made Easy.
Right.
Is the name of the class?
Yes. And if she can make something easy, if anyone can, it's her, because she's just so smart, so knowledgeable. She's a great instructor, and she loves to teach.
Everybody seems to like her. So I like the fact that when she gets here, she doesn't call me first. She just goes straight to the room, sets up, plugs it in, gets ready to go, and she's sitting there waiting for me to show up.
Right. That's her. Yeah, she's always early, and like all of my instructors know, you get there an hour before class, and you get set up, and you're ready for when people start coming in.
So you also are a real estate agent.
Yes.
So why don't you just tell everybody, how that came about? Why did you become a real
Well,
estate agent?
over the years with the school, a lot of people assumed I was an agent, and
I did.
Right.
I did.
And so when we'd start talking and say, "No, I'm not a licensed agent," they were like, "Well, how are you doing this?" I'm like, "Because I've got people that know this stuff. I don't need to know this stuff." But I always thought in the back of my head, if I had time, I'd probably pursue that. And lo and behold, COVID came, and guess what? I had time.
Lots of time.
And I needed to add a stream of income, because the real estate school I did, like 2 weeks after everything shut down, I was doing classes on Zoom. So I did make a really quick turnaround. I'm very thankful of me and several of my instructors, Lynn being one of them, Carrie. We kind of put our heads together. We figured out Zoom. talk to the customers that we had been working with and try to figure out a strategy that made it beneficial for them as well, because it has to work for everybody. And we came up with a plan, and it worked. But I was still really only doing about 2/3 of the classes that I had been doing.
How do you feel about, and you can be honest, I mean, but how do you feel about doing education via Zoom? That's the same way I feel.
I don't love it. I actually, now that we're back to in person, but we still do some on Zoom.
Do you really?
There's definitely a convenience level to Zoom, and we all got really good at engaging the students in the class with breakout rooms and things like that, because I think that's part of the reason that we hate Zoom is because you don't get the engagement. You're just looking at, the Brady Bunch blocks, and some people are sleeping, and, so we started making them engage by putting them in breakout rooms and making them talk to each other and then come back into the main classroom. It worked like a charm.
Really?
Yes. Once we figured that out, it changed the dynamics of it a lot. But there's nothing like being in a room and seeing people's, the light bulbs go off and the smiles and the engagement. And
yeah, I wouldn't do Zoom anymore unless I absolutely had to. There's just, not, and I'm not trying to be negative, but not every agent that comes to the class is there for the class.
Right.
And Zoom made it even easier for agents to come to
check
the class
out.
that weren't there for the class.
Right. They're checking emails while they're in class, and
I even had one lady that she just literally did not get out of bed and put her laptop.
I know.
on.
Oh no. Let me tell you, I've got some Zoom stories.
It's not that kind of podcast.
It's like we can see you. You know that, right? Yeah. There's some. We could share some funny stories about that.
Amazing. So tell everybody you're a real estate agent, and for whom?
I'm with CB&A, and I love them. I have been in a mentor program, which is kind of funny because everybody's like, well, you've been around the business for a long time. And there's a lot I know, but I realize there's a lot I don't know too. So knowing something by the book and putting it into action are two different things. So I'll give my mentor, Michael Lemke, a little shout out here in case he watches this. Don't tell him I said so, but he's brilliant. He's amazing.
You really are, Michael. I haven't even met you, and you're brilliant.
But the mentor program has been amazing for me. And
So how long have you been an agent?
2 years. I renew at the end of this month. So I just finished all my SAE hours, and they just about killed me, which was another reason I was telling people I have no time in October. Plus, it's my birthday month, just in case you didn't know that.
And so it's got to be in the next couple of days then, huh?
Well, my birthday is actually October 9th, but I'm having the last hurrah celebration tonight. So I celebrate the whole month.
The last hurrah for what?
My birthday.
Oh, you mean the last
birthday event.
Okay, I see. Okay.
Yes.
Well,
there have been several.
So let me say officially on the podcast, happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
I was not aware it was your birthday. So now I know. And by the way, I don't remember anything, so.
That's okay. I was shocked that there was not a birthday cake here.
Don't make me feel bad. I can edit this.
Oh, no.
So, do you like being an agent?
I do. I've had a lot of experiences so far being able to work with a lot of different kinds of people. Recently, I sold to some first-time home buyers, and I loved that.
You like the fact that they're all happy and seeing their faces?
Just seeing them get what they want, seeing them find the right house, and it was their first house, and they just got married a couple of weeks ago. So, they were buying it, and they had to do a little work on it. But it was very rewarding. But I've worked with other high-end buyers. I've worked with, I've had a lot of good people that I've worked with. I've not had any bad experience. Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. There's a first time for everything.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
We hope it's.
I shouldn't have said that. Take that back.
We hope it's a subpar bad experience. So, since you have two businesses,
right?
How do you market them?
I'm fortunate with the real estate school. I don't have to do a lot. The classes are marketing enough because we have a lot of classes every month, and just those being promoted is marketing.
And who do you promote them, or does the client promote them, or both? Or
Sometimes we do help promote them, but usually whoever it is, they promote. They put the marketing plan together and they do it, and sometimes we'll share it or something like that. But
the fortunate thing you have when it comes to the SAE classes or the required classes is that they're required, so it doesn't take a lot of marketing. You want to stay an agent, you have to take this class eventually. So because
and I offer those online. I'm an affiliate of the CE shop, so I can offer the qualifying. I can offer the SAE. So we don't just have the ones that are in person or on Zoom, but we also do the online stuff as well.
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough that over the years I've amassed a good following that because my classes aren't required, but they're marketing related, and they tend to fill up pretty quickly.
That's awesome.
Your classes, on the other hand, on the required side, 2 hours.
2 hours after putting it live.
2 hours after
you do fill them up really fast.
They're like gone, and I'm just like.
And I have people calling me. The link's not up yet. How do I register for this class? I'm like, well, you can't yet. You're just gonna have to wait.
It's not up yet.
And then it's like a feeding frenzy.
It's unbelievable. And I used to think it was all about me, but it's not, because it's not my class. It's you.
Well, it's your marketing though that's bringing it to the table.
But it's just like. Oh my gosh! So
you have a following, so they're waiting for it to go.
If you're an agent and you're seeing this, and the CMA's made easy this Friday, as soon as you see that link on Monday, if you don't register when you see it, it won't be available the next time you look at it. I promise. Just had to say that.
Right.
You also have a website, right? Give everybody your website.
It's KathrynWheat.com. So I'll spell it KathrynWheat.com.
And on that website, you can find what?
Depends on what your needs are. So you can find everything. You can find out about me as a realtor. You can see if you are a realtor, then you can look on our calendar to see where we have classes scheduled, and you can sign up for them right there off of the calendar. Or if you are what I would call my customer, meaning builder, developer, title company, singular.
Good job. Good job.
Stewart title. You can look to see the list of courses that we have, and so there's 3 different links there. There's the Houston list, there's the Dallas list, and then there's the virtual list.
And then if you also, I think I remember seeing, if you'd like to see what classes are available and if you want to sponsor the classes.
Exactly. So all the pricing there is for the sponsors. We have a niche in that we do not charge the realtor for the class.
That's exactly what I don't do.
Yeah, that is just what we do. So anytime I have someone come to me and say, hey, we want to do a class, we want to charge the realtors, I'm like, it's not going to work. That business model does not work for me.
They won't show up because they have to pay for it.
Well, they can look on my calendar and see where they can get the same class for free the next week. So why would they pay for it this week?
Yeah,
and as a realtor, we have a lot of fees. There's a lot of things we have to pay for. And, it's this one thing, if we can help them without having to pay for continuing education, then it's a win-win for everybody.
What I like about your business model as opposed to other educational institutions for this same niche or same service is you allow me as a title company using you to promote this to my own agents in my area. You allow me to use my own sponsors.
Exactly.
There's other companies out there that do the same thing you do that that's not the same.
Right. You know what? I realized a while back, especially having 2 businesses now, I don't need to be in control of everything. I can let you control that. And that's one thing I can just cross off my list. So I love it. I love the arrangement.
Well, I like it because not only, again, it gives me the ability to offer the CE class that's required to agents to where they don't have to pay for it. I also can use the vendors that I have relationships with
exactly
to get in front of those agents. And I've been using the same 5 or 6 or 7 agents for years, and they love it because they know that whatever I do something, they're going to get a phone call and say, hey, are you available? And they jump right on it because they get business out of all these classes.
Right. And I mean, that's the whole purpose is to everybody kind of become aware of each other and see how we can collaborate and do business together. And if I can help you, then you can probably help me. And, it's got to work for everybody.
People in this business do business with people that they know, like, and trust.
Absolutely.
It's that simple. So you've been an agent for 2 years. What's your favorite part about, other than working with buyers?
Oh gosh, favorite part. Now that I don't know.
Do you like being a buyer's agent versus a seller's agent? Or
I haven't decided yet.
You haven't.
I mean, there's just a different, list to approach depending on which side of it you're on. I just recently got a new listing, so I'm looking forward to working on that. And we're getting pictures taken next week. So
by the way, we can close anywhere.
I know you can.
Just putting that out there.
Your face is turning red.
I'm always marketing. Always.
No shame.
No shame. Hey, this is my podcast. If someone needed a real estate agent, and they approached you and you never met them before, and they wanted you to sell their house, what's the first thing you say? What's the first thing you do?
Well, I'm going to ask some questions. I'm going to ask where they are, why they're selling, what their motivation is, and schedule an appointment to meet with them. So
you meet with them one-on-one instead of doing the video thing or the phone call or whatever.
I like to meet one-on-one.
Yeah, one-on-one.
Unless it's, I've gotten referrals. I've been fortunate enough to get referrals. So if it was a total stranger, I might ask for a little bit more information before I show up at their house. Okay. Just for safety reasons.
And then do you help if someone comes to you as a first-time buyer and says, I'd love to buy a new house, but where do I start? I don't have the credit, or I don't have a down payment.
Well, the first step is going to be to talk with a lender and see what you can do. Because without that knowledge, we don't know where to go.
Right.
So we could spin our wheels and waste a lot of time looking at stuff that might not be in your price range.
Right.
So we got to find out what that is first.
Got to try and get that pre-approval done first.
Absolutely.
Do you work with renters?
I have. I've done some leases. It's funny. I did a lease from a family from California, actually, and it was a referral. And they were going to be moving here to be around their kids because their kids were moving here, but they didn't really know for sure what area of town they wanted to be in. So they said, we're just going to lease for a year and we'll kind of piddle around and then we'll end up buying something. So the lease I got them did have a buyout, 2 months, and you could get out of the lease. They were in that house 2 weeks and they found where they wanted to be. They found a house. And so got him out of the lease, and I sold him a house.
Was the landlord of the house, were they upset?
No, not really, because it was an individual, so it wasn't like a big leasing company or anything, which made it
easier. And then you just released the house again for him?
No, because he was an agent, so but that's okay.
Who was an agent? The guy.
The landlord.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, you were on the other side. Okay.
Right. So, so they moved here, and I leased them a house, and a month later, I sold them a house.
Can't beat that.
I know, right? I love them.
You worked with real estate investors?
I have not yet. I have a friend that's an investor, and we've talked a little bit, but I haven't had the time to really dive in on that too much.
Well, just make sure, because I was in property management for 7 years, real estate investors, do not treat them the same way you do traditional buyers and sellers. They don't care what color the paint is. They don't care if the yard's been taken care of. All they care about is one thing.
What I can turn this house
Return
for.
on investment.
Right.
That's it. So if the guy or the lady tells you, I got $300,000 to spend and I want a 3% return on my investment, if you can find them that, don't say, hey, you want to come see the house. I met your needs. Can we put a contract on it? Because that's all they care about.
Right.
And just do it over and over again, because if you can find an investor their investment property, then you can lease it. Then you can refer it to a property management company. They'll probably give you a referral fee, and then you can sell the house again later, 3 to 5 years later. It's 4 transactions with one client.
It's beautiful.
Once a quarter. They'll pay off your house in 2 years.
Nice.
So, I don't know if you live in a mansion or something. So, but
no.
Awesome. So, is there anything that everybody in podcast land you would like them to know about Kathryn Wheat?
Oh my goodness.
From a real estate perspective, or personal, it doesn't matter to me.
I really do enjoy what I do. I love teaching. I never thought I would be the person in front of a room speaking to a crowd, but I love it. It's very rewarding, seeing the light bulbs go off and being able to help people and help them figure out, how to approach things. I also worked as an assistant with a builder while I was growing my real estate school. And so I also teach a class called Understanding Builders, Attract Buyers, Close More Deals. But it's about how to work with builders. And I wrote the class because when I was working as an assistant, I saw such a gap in communication between realtors and sales reps with builders. And I felt like they both have the same goal, and that's to put a buyer in a house that is very happy with the process. And but a lot of realtors don't really know how to attack the builder side of it, and they don't know how to deal with it. And so I love teaching that class. That's probably the only one I still teach right now, just because I've had to pull back a little bit on teaching myself.
So you do actually teach?
I do still. I do the one, but I've written probably 15 courses that I've taught over the years.
The very first time you either had to public speak or teach, were you as nervous and sweaty as I was?
Oh my gosh, I was a wreck. I was so nervous.
The very first time I taught a class, right before I was supposed to start, I looked out at the room, the class, the agents, and I thought to myself,
what have you done?
Stupid son of a... What are you doing?
Why did you agree to this?
I had never done anything like this, and now put me in front of 300 people and I can control the room. So it's just getting up and doing it. It's
kind of like my very first YouTube video. I still have it on my YouTube channel just because it's hilarious. If you scroll all the way down and you look at all my videos and you go to that very first one, I'm blinking uncontrollably throughout the whole thing. And the whole thing's maybe, a minute and a half, 2 minutes. But apparently I have a blinking problem when I get nervous.
I have a video.
Now I'm like, don't blink.
Now you toothpick your eyes at me. I have a video from a mortgage lady friend of mine who I'm not going to mention right now, that I'll show you later. She was on my podcast and she was a nervous wreck.
Oh, no.
And she didn't realize I was recording everything. So I kept it and pulled it out and made it its own little podcast.
Oh, no.
But sorry about that. If she sees this, she knows who I'm talking about. This has been great. Tell everybody how they get a hold of you, either from if they need a real estate agent or if they want to hire you and your services as real estate education.
My phone number is 281-794-8111. Just give me a call, send me an email, Kathryn@kathrynwheat.com. Either way, reach out to me, text me, and I'd be happy to help you.
And are you on social media at all?
I'm kind of all over the place, yes.
So what platforms do you have?
Facebook, of course, Facebook Business, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, although I don't really have any business stuff on TikTok. It's just fun. And where else? LinkedIn. Did I say that?
You did.
LinkedIn.
And YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah. Okay. Well, guys, this is Kathryn Wheat from the Kathryn Wheat Real Estate School.
School of Real Estate.
Sorry about
Something like that.
And real estate agent. What area of town do you kind of operate in, agent-wise?
Mainly Katy Fulshear area, but I have done, because of my extensive traveling for the school and all the suburbs, I have done some of the suburbs as well. So
you'll basically help anyone from anywhere, all over right around the city of Houston?
As long as I know the area.
Okay.
I'm not gonna. I'll refer something out if I feel like I don't have enough market knowledge.
We'll give everybody the phone number one more time.
281-794-8111.
Okay, guys, this is Kathryn Wheat. So, education and real estate agent. If you need her, give her a call. My name is Kevin Davidson. I've been your host for the 26th episode of Kevin's Corner,
Yay.
Real Estate from a Marketing Perspective. Again, I want to thank Jennifer Smidas, Caitlin Korner, Devin, and Winnie Santana. And if you're a real estate agent or a vendor that operates in the Fort Bend County area and you want to be on the podcast, call me, 832-654-0527, or email me at kevin.davidson@stewart.com. You can find this episode and all of the episodes on my YouTube channel, Kevin's Corner, Real Estate from a Marketing Perspective. Until next week, next episode, you guys have a great weekend. So bye.
Thank you. Bye.